Hi guys, Mrs. Waymeyer here, making another video for you about long division. We're going to use larger divisors today, so getting larger than one digit. We're first going to start with this problem, 548 divided by 62. So you might hear me also refer to long division as the traditional way of solving math. This is the way that I was taught in school, maybe your parents, and if this method works for you, then please continue to use it. I will also show you some other methods as well that you can try and use, but let's get started. So we're going to put 62 on the outside and then 548 on the inside. So 548 is our dividend and 62 is our divisor. So right away I can already tell you I don't know my 62 multiplication tables off the top of my head. So we're going to have to use something called guessing and checking. I'm first trying to see, does 62 go into 5? And the answer would be no. Does 62 go into 54? And the answer would also be no. So right away I can tell that my answer is going to be a one-digit answer, and that might even have a little bit of a remainder afterwards. But what I need to figure out is how many 62s can go into 548. I don't have my 62 facts memorized, like I said, so I'm just going to do some guessing and checking here. I know it's going to be a one-digit number, so I know it has to be between 1 and 9. It can't be any bigger than 9. So I'm just going to try 5. So I end up with the answer of 310 when I multiplied 62 times 5. So I'm going to see if I can get a little bit higher or closer to 548. And so I'm still in the 300s. So I'm going to go ahead and go to 8 times 62 and see what I come up with. Getting a little bit warmer, so 496. So I'm going to try 9 groups. And here I notice that that is too big. 558 is larger than my dividend here. So I'm going to have to use 8 groups to stay a little bit underneath here. So remember that I mark my 8 up top. I multiply 8 times 62 is 496, lining up my place values. Now I'm ready to subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2, excuse me. And then you can regroup here, or you can think about 54 minus 49, and that's going to be 5. Here's regrouping if you need to see that. So I'm left with 52. The good news is this number that's remaining is smaller than my divisor. Now, the next thing I would need to do is bring down any digits. Do I have anything left to bring down? No. So I can't continue my steps anymore. This leftover is still part of my answer. So my answer ends up being 8 with a remainder of 52. That seems like a really large remainder. However, as long as your remainder is less than your divisor, I can't take out any more groups. So my answer should work. Now, I am going to use multiplication to check myself. So I should know already that 62 times 8, 496 from before when I worked that out. But then in order to check this, I'm going to add in my remainder and see if I end up with my dividend I started with, and I do. So I know that this is the correct answer, 8 with a remainder of 52. So let's try that again. This time I'm going to use 36 as the divisor and 756 as the dividend. The first thing I'm thinking is, can 36 go into 7? No. Can 36 go into 75? Yes. Maybe twice. So I'm going to do some guessing and checking off to the side here. And I get 72. So I can take 2 groups out of there. 2 times 36 is 72. And I get a remainder of 3. My next step is to bring down, and this makes me happy because I notice 36 can go into 36 one time. 1 times 36 is 36. So my answer is 21. Again, I'm going to use multiplication I'm just going to use the traditional multiplication to check myself. 1 times 6, 1 times 3, placeholder, 12, 6, 7. And then I need to add those numbers. And do I end up with the dividend I started with? The answer is yes. So my answer of 21 is correct. The last one I'm going to do for you is a larger number. It's still going to follow the same steps though. So this time my divisor is 64, and now my dividend is 2,847. Still same steps, even though the number is much larger. Can 64 go into 2? Can 64 go into 28? How many 64s can go into 284? Again, I don't have my 64 times tables memorized, so I'm just going to do some guessing and checking. I'm just going to start with 4. 16, 24, 25. I end up with 256, which is pretty close, but I want to see if I can get any closer. So I'm going to multiply by 5. 32. So that gets me 320, which tells me too far, too much. So I'm going to use 4 groups of 64, which is 256. Multiply, subtract. We need to regroup here. 28 left, bring down a 7. Right away, these numbers to me look very similar to 284. So again, I'm going to use 4 groups, because I know I can't use 5 groups. That's too much. And subtract. I don't have anything left to bring down out of my dividend, so my steps are done. I'm at 31, so that means that my remainder is 31. I'm going to use multiplication, because that's the inverse of division, to check myself. 4 times 4 is 16, 24, 25. I need a placeholder, and I'm not going to want to count that carry again. 16, 24, 25, and then I'm going to add those place values. Sorry, I got really low on the paper there. 11, 8, I get 2,816, which is not what I started with, but I can't forget to add in my remainder. So 2,816, and then I need to add in my remainder, and hopefully that gets me my beginning dividend. And it does. So hopefully this was helpful to you, to remind you to walk you through those steps of long division. It still works the same way with small numbers, large numbers, and even when you get up into 4-digit dividends and 3-digit divisors. As long as you're following these steps, they will work. My tip for you is to not erase your guessing and checkings out to the side if you're multiplying by those numbers, to see how close you can get, because if you're solving a very large problem, you might have to use them again, and so just keeping that math out to the side really helps speed the process along. But hopefully this video helped. Again, this was over long division, larger divisors, and this is Mrs. Waymeyer. Thanks, guys.